What's up all you Spawntastic dudes and dudettes, ToyShiz here, and I'm back yet again to give you guys another retro shiz look back at the past, and we're heading all the way back to 1994 with the debut of a certain Todd McFarlane, McFarlane Toys, it's an attitude, Spawn series with Spawn Series 1, and today we're checking out the Hamburger Head from Spawn Series 1, one of my favorites of course, love the cape, just very Toy Biz-ish, but also has that McFarlane Toys charm. As we would come to find out, McFarlane Toys would offer a lot of different variants. Black costume Spawn, then you also had the blue costume as well. Heck, throw in a worm-headed Spawn, a little bit different, of course, from the shoelace slash hamburger head that we're taking a look at today. The McFarlane Toys Collector Club exclusive Necroplasm Spawn, and then, of course, a KB Toys exclusive gold version. Yup. And of course now, Kickstarter, in conjunction with McFarlane Toys, is offering a redo, a trip back down memory lane to offer up the original Series 1 Spawn, all redone with that 2020 action figure goodness that we know and love. The Kickstarter is fully functional right now. It reached full funding within 12 minutes of being posted. It's now well above and beyond the $1.2 million mark. If you have any questions, check out my video. I explain everything that you need to know in regards to funding this project. So I'll have a link in the description right here or above, or just look around. You'll definitely find it. But yes, this is an amazing Kickstarter. Happy to fund it, but I digress. Let's take a look at how this all began. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of Necroplasm. This is the original 1994 Todd Toys McFarlane Toys Spawn Series 1 Hamburger Head slash Shoelace Head. And of course here is Spawn out of his packaging. Well, he's been out of his packaging for quite some time. But yes, this is most notably the shoelace slash, most likely how they called it back in the day, Hamburger Head version of Spawn. He does have his black costume with the red and the white. Based on his first appearance, he's got his awesome flowing red cape. Had a sort of a function where you could kind of flip them out. You know what I mean? Nowadays, the plastic is incredibly brittle. I don't recommend doing it, but you can still if you'd like to try, but I just wouldn't. Based on the shoelace head, well, that comes courtesy in the comics of when old Spawn went up against Batman, as you may have read. Not the best of stories, just between you and I. But hey, you know what? It's fun to see Batman beating up Spawn and vice versa. But this particular Spawn had a number of different accessories that came with him as well. Actually, it's kind of funny to look back now and see that Spawn has a lot of things going on with him, but the accessories are really where it's at, and it's a lot of fun too. You get a wooden board with a nail through it, basically, a cape accessory, a couple chains, a chained necklace sort of deal, minimal articulation, 5 points of articulation, head would spin, the shoulders, and of course the legs kicked out with some knees. That's really what you needed back in the day. You could fit him in vehicles, you could fit him on an air cycle, you could do whatever you really wanted to do. It was fun, it was awesome. And he was unmasked. That was another cool aspect. With all the different variants, you could pick the Spawn that you wanted or have a dozen if need be. But as far as the accessories go, they were well designed for what you got for back in the day. The best weapon accessory of all time, a wooden plank with a giant nail through it. Well, Spawn likes fighting dirty with all these kinds of wooded weapons. You got some couple chains, all rubberized, so you could put them in his hand or put them on his belt, whatever you'd like, and a little piece that actually helped form-fit the cape, the giant cape, to his back. And it fit over his shoulders, really stood there really nicely, pegged in nicely, and it fitted around his neck due to the skull necklace. And I ask you, who makes a better cape than McFarlane Toys? He did it with Series 1, and he did it all the way through, even to this day, with the new MK11 Spawn. But let's look at how they all sort of work and interplay with the figure. Say you'd grab your old Spawn figure. Now you could put this chain in his hand. It had two pegs. The longer side would fit right there. Actually, the more chubbier side would fit into his skull right there on his midsection. And then, of course, it would just sort of wrap around to the back side of the figure where you would find a series of holes, and you just plug it right back into there, and it stays. It's actually really nice. nice and sturdy. Same thing with the other side, slip it around, same exact deal. You could swap out the chains, you could go either way, it doesn't really matter. And then of course you have this red piece for the cape. My best recommendations, slip it into Spawn's back first and then hook it into the peg hole that's on the actual cape. Fits in snugly, stays on perfectly on his back, even if you don't even have this little piece. One of the rarest pieces in all of Spawndom, it seems like. I need to get myself a new one, just FYI, but simply would just peg right there into the cape, situates nicely right around his neck, slip in the old nail with the board, and you got yourself a nice looking Hamburger Head Spawn. And like I said, I am missing another one of those chain necklaces. My other poor little mask Spawn, he's missing his. So if anybody out there in fandom knows anything, please let me know in the description below. I would love to grab another one. But yes, you could see the variance, quote unquote, between this mask Spawn and of course the Hamburger Head Spawn. Yeah, you could intersplice the pieces if you really wanted to, and they would work. Same cape. The Hamburger Head one has a little bit brighter color, where the mask Spawn has a little bit of a muted red, but again, not much difference. They all stand the same chain, same everything. It's just a matter of different head swap. And hey, you know what? That's what they did back in the day, and it ain't no different now. Here he is lined up with the Spawn 3 figure. Again, much in that same vein of having a spring-loaded cape, we'll just say, whereas now Spawn 3 does actually have a spring-loaded cape. Came with a dog and also another piece of wood, this time with a giant metal axe thing, whatever you want to call it, and a huge giant cape wingspan, gorgeous, flipped out, push the button, light up green eyes. Quite an awesome figure. And it's really cool just to see the gradual evolution of the Spawn action figure from Series 1 all the way to the brand new, most recent Mortal Kombat 11, Series 1 5-inch, Mortal Kombat 11 7-inch, but it's just Spawn through and through. Very cool to see. Here he is lined up with the ToyBiz Spider-Man the Animated Series line. I remember stacking these up together, putting them together. They meshed pretty well, I have to say. It was kind of like, you know, Spider-Man, Spawn, we all know Todd McFarlane. And of course, here he is lined up with, let's say, a He-Man figure. Again, more in that 5-inch realm. And you could see what they were going for. Big, massive, chunky figures. You could put Spawn on the air cycle. Again, I went over this just actually a couple weeks back. If you want to check out my fresh look on this, quite an entertaining vehicle for Spawn. This one came with a pilot Spawn, but you can actually put this Series 1 Spawn right on there, and he looks awesome with that flowing out cape. This also came with, on top of all you get the weapons, you get the figures, came with an exclusive comic book. Nice cross-sell. You got to see all the different characters for Spawn Series 1. Had the instructions of what to do with Spawn. And then, of course, all the other different figures of that line. And, of course, you open it up, and you had a little preview of the Spawn comic. Didn't really get too hot and heavy with the actual... We all know what Spawn, you know, looks like in the comics. This was more kid-friendly in a sort of way, but he did look good, and it was a real eye-opener for being like, hey, you know what? If you like this toy, there's a comic, but if you like the comics, here's the toy. Excellent marketing right there, Mr. McFarlane. Again, if you want to go ahead and fund the new SPAWN MASTERWORKS Kickstarter, fully funded, you will get the figure, whatever money you want to put towards. There are several different tiers. I went with the 160. You get all the figures, and also you get all the stretch goals that they'll be announcing. There's already been 2 so far, so definitely go and check it out, and let me know what you guys think about the Kickstarter if you're going to fund it. And what do you think about this Series 1 Hamburger Head, Shoelace Head Spawn figure? Do you have him? Do you need to get him? Comment below, let me know. Let's talk everything McFarlane Toys, and let me know what Spawn figures you'd like to see me tackle on an upcoming episode of Retro Shiz. I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food, but most importantly, remember that when it comes to Spawn, never sell him short. He's still a money-making powerhouse. And when you do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.